Welcome back to Citywide Field here at London, Ontario for our third and final London Minor Football Championship here on London Football TV. I am the coach, Ron Forwerda, joined by Dylan Sherville. We have the U14 matchup here between the St. Thomas Hawks and the Bulldogs. You know, a matchup that we saw earlier today at the Tyke level. The Hawks are going to be in the double blue. The Bulldogs are going to be in white with blue trim. Some of the keys to today's game, Dylan.
Well, if you're looking to look at the Bulldogs' offense, everything kind of flows through Nate White, their quarterback. He's incredibly exceptional at getting the ball out, getting the ball quick. You're going to see more throwing at this level as well, whether it's slants, some sort of swing pass. You might even see the occasional deep ball as well, starting to develop those skills for them that they'll see at the next level. And he's kind of the catalyst to all that. Incredibly cerebral when it comes to looking at a defense, someone who's played a ton of football as well from the quarterback position. So yeah, kind of trying to get into his head or show him something he hasn't really seen before might be the key to success for the Hawks today.
So we expected this to be a much more defensive-minded game as well. Both teams kind of 1 and 2 defensive side of the ball, offensively as well. What are some of the matchups for the Hawks that you think that they have to exploit going forward?
Well, if I'm the Hawks, I want to keep the Bulldogs' offense off the field as much as possible, which means that you're going to end up pounding the rock, right, running the ball efficiently, getting 3, 4, 5 yards in a cloud of dust, and continue to move the ball forward, right? So that's going to be the keys for the Hawks is to keep the Bulldogs off the field.
So it'll be interesting to see how this translates. You know, it's 2:30, November the 3rd. Beautiful day, Dylan. You know, the winds are blowing. The howls of Dorchester are definitely howling. It's been, but it's definitely warmed up as this day has gone on.
Yeah, definitely warmed up from our U10 game this morning, Coach. And also, you're going to get a lot more sun, right, which is nice, especially at this time of the year where, you know, most of the time there's normally some snow on the ground or some flurries going around. So we're going to get down to this game here and see how this game starts. It's going to be a great one to watch.
So the Hawks have the ball to start. Bulldogs start on defense. This is 12-on-12 action now going forward.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot of your traditional coverages that you see at the high school or even at the university level. You're going to see your cover threes. You're going to see cut coverage. You're going to see that deep high safety look with a lot of players stacked into the box here.
2x2, handoff to number 4 for the Hawks. Takes it over left hand side. Good run of about 9 yards on that to start the game.
And that's Mason Kraftchick on the run there. One of the more crafty running backs that they do have. Number 4, Kieran McCready on the carry, I believe. So my apologies. And then with the tackle was Cooper Adamovich, their middle linebacker. A lot bigger than a lot of the other middle linebackers that you'll see at this level. But he can move sideline to sideline to be incredibly efficient.
Hawks break the huddle, 2x2 set. You're going to see this formation out of them pretty much exclusively all day. Pistol formation, handoff to number 32, taking it off the left-hand side. Needed 1 yard, got about 2 or 3 on that. That's going to be enough for a first down.
That's Quentin Herbert on the carry, again, one of the backs that the Hawks like to go to often. They're going to try and get some of that misdirection in the backfield, throw off the defense a little bit, try to see if they can get these linebackers flowing and create a crease.
So first down for the Hawks as they break the huddle. No score early in the first quarter here. 2x2 split set. Motion the slots. Handoff to number 5 on a little jet sweep action coming around the end. Good defense. Met there by number 40, 21 for the Bulldogs. It's number 40. That's Morgan Kerr, the defensive end with the big stop.
And that's the goal if you're the Hawks here, is to try and get those linebackers flowing, get them moving side to side, slow them down a little bit from coming straight up field, create some misdirection eventually in the offense. And I will note, Coach, that when these two teams played all the way back in week 1, all the way back in September there, the Bulldogs actually blanked the Hawks 27-0. So definitely a different team that we're going to see from the Hawks today as they have made it to the championship game. I would expect it to be a little bit more competitive.
Handoff to number 4, met in the backfield by a number of Bulldogs. He broke 1 or 2 tackles. Finally wrapped up by number 33 for the Bulldogs. That is Hunter Weckling. thrown down for a loss of a couple, and it's a 3rd down and 12.
And this is not where you want to be if you're the Hawks right now. You want to try and get those 3, 4, 5-yard runs and 5-yard gains so that you're eventually going to end up having favorable field position. Unfortunately, right now, they're kind of behind the sticks, behind in the game script. They're going to have to try something down the field a little bit here.
Hawks break the huddle. Going into the wind. Handoff inside. Wrapped up by number 77 for the Bulldogs.
Gain of about 4 on the play there from McCready. With the winds howling, as you guys can hear, going to be really difficult to try and throw the ball and push the ball down the field. Now, at the U14 level, there are no special teams, right? So a punt, if you're on your own side of the field, is a 30-yard difference. If you're on the opposing side of the field, it's a 15-yard difference.
So the Hawks do elect to punt, and so the Bulldogs are going to be coming onto the field. And again, this Hawks defense has improved steadily as the year has gone on. Probably one of the most improved units in the London Minor football. So let's see what the Bulldogs can come up with. Gentlemen that we're very familiar with, and the quarterback, number 5, Nate White, quarterbacks the Junior Mustangs as well. White in the pistol formation. 3 receivers to the field, 2 to the boundary. Jet sweep action, handoff inside. Penalty flags fly. That is I'm trying to pick up the number 10 with the ball carry. But flags on the play. Just waiting for the white hat to indicate what the call is. Holding called against the Bulldogs. We're going to move it back 10 yards. It's going to be a repeat of 1st down. So 1st and 20 for the Bulldogs. 6 minutes, 11 seconds left to go. Opening drive for the Bulldogs. The Hawks got an initial 1st down, then went 3 and out on the next series of downs. Punted the ball, and that's where we are now. 1st and 20, not really where you want to be in this deep in your own end zone as well.
Yeah, definitely not positive on the game script here for the Bulldogs. However, when you do have a quarterback like Nate White, he can push the ball down the field. However, the conditions right now are definitely not good for that, as they are going into the wind here.
So jet sweep handoff. It's number 89, I believe it is. Taking it over the far left-hand side. Forced out of bounds by the Hawks.
There is a flag on the field as well, all the way back on the near sideline to where we are here, Coach. And I believe that's number 88, Brody Penhale, with the jet sweep action there, taking the ball for a little bit. We're going to see what the tissue is on the field here and see how that's going to move or change the sticks.
Again, just waiting for the white hat to indicate it. So it's a 1st down. I believe it was offside against the Hawks. So they're going to move it up 5 yards. And we're going to repeat 1st down again.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, right? You take the penalty, give yourself another down, right? You didn't gain more than 5 yards on the previous play, so take the penalty, give yourself an extra down.
So 1st and 15 now for the Bulldogs after 1st and 10 on the 1st and 20.
Yeah.
Bulldogs break the huddle. 2 receivers to the field, 1 to the boundary. 2 running backs behind White. Handoff inside to number 88. Short gain on the play. Gets it back to maybe the original line of scrimmage. Gain of 5 on that 2nd down.
And that's Penhill again on the carry. Very slippery as the running back here. Trying to, gain some yards here. They're back to 2nd and about 11 here. So, again, not great where you want to be, but you do have the ability to end up gaining some yards based off of what we've seen so far. And you're going to see a lot of that kind of pistol look from the Bulldogs, getting Nate White behind 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, just so he can survey the defense.
2x2, motion across. Fake the jet sweep, handoff going into the opposite direction, handoff to number 10. It's Gabriel as the ball carrier. Gets it beyond midfield into Hawk territory. pushed out of bounds about the 49-yard line. Big play for the Bulldogs. First down.
And that jet sweep action really forces the defense to respect it, right? Because someone's coming with a full head of steam, running there, while the defense is generally stagnant before the snap of the ball. You got to respect the jet sweep, so they go opposite of that, hand off the running back where the defense is already flowing away, and obviously get a huge gain.
So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs. So they break the huddle. The ball's at the 48-yard line of the Hawks. 2-by-2 set, one running back. Slot back also in there on the left. Good block on the edge. Hand off to number 81 this time. Good low tackle by number 9 for the Hawks.
I believe that's Daniel Draper. They have 2 number 9s here listed on the roster. Great tackle, and that's what you want to see from a corner, right? Someone who stays home, stays to their responsibility, but when someone comes to them, they walk up and end up securing the tackle.
Gain of, we're going to call it 5 on that. 2nd down and 5 for the Bulldogs. Break the huddle. They got a couple big receivers out there as well.
Absolutely big, tall, and they look like they can run. So very good for, a passing attack. But as we've already discussed, the weather not being the best for the passing game as they hand off again to Tyson Gabriel, for the short gain. Looking like it's going to be 3rd and short for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, gain of about 3 on that. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2. I like the inside handoff. You kind of got him moving a little bit side to side now. Let's try to hit him inside. So Bulldogs break the huddle. 3rd down and 2. Slot back. So it's 3 to the field, 2 to the boundary, 1 running back in.
And traditionally, this is what you're going to see from a lot of offenses at the high school level, as Gabriel is caught in the back.
Pressure right away by number 32 for the Hawks. That is Quentin Herbert, who makes a big stop in the backfield. All the way back to the 46-yard line. A loss of 6. That's going to bring up a 4th down, and we're going to call it 8 here.
And typically on this side of the field, you're going to see a lot of teams go for it because the 15-yard difference really doesn't do a whole lot. Yeah. So again, not surprised to see the Bulldogs offense stay out onto the field here. I would expect some sort of jet motion again, where they're going to try and get some misdirection going, create some confusion on the defensive side of the ball here.
3 receivers to the boundary, 1 to the field. Also the tight end or the H-back also to the field. Back to pass, taking a shot downfield. Pass is batted down and knocked away. Intended for number 81 for the Bulldogs. That's Slowway was the intended receiver. Good coverage down there for St. Thomas. Turn it over on downs. 1st down, Hawks.
And that's where you are able to get a really important stop there by Cabral Lucas, the corner for the Hawks. Great effort, taller receiver. They want to throw it up to him, take advantage of the height matchup. And he was able to get a stop there, so really important. And as you saw there when you throw that ball, the ball's going to hang a little bit longer just because of the wind. So it's going to end up creating some time for the corners to react, especially when receivers kind of have to wait for the ball to get there.
St. Thomas with their 2nd possession of the game. 2 minutes, 9 seconds left to go the 1st quarter. No score here. Hawks break the huddle. 2-by-2 set. I formation. Handoff to McCready over the left-hand side. Bust it back up the middle. Gain of, we're going to call it about 7 on that play. Good little run there.
And then tackled by Adamovich with, the stop flowing relatively quickly to that. You give up the 7 yards there on the run. McCready just able to put his foot in the dirt and get vertical, which is what you want to see on those types of runs.
Hawks break the huddle. Hawks in double blue, Bulldogs in the white jerseys with blue trim. Barking out signals. Inside handoff to number 32, I believe it is this time. Takes it over the left-hand side. Big man is rumbling. Gets it to about the 50-yard line. First down for the Hawks.
And that's what you love to see from an offense is that fullback carry, right? You don't see it a whole lot anymore, but fullbacks are people too, just as you mentioned as kickers are. It's great to see them get a lot of other pieces involved on the offense because as a defense or defensive coach, right, you're going to look and say, all right, I'm going to try and make you play left-handed or, take away your number one option. But when you have 3 or 4 guys who touch the ball, it makes it incredibly difficult.
So Herbert was the ball carrier there. Handoff to McCready, taking it over the right-hand side. Met in the backfield by number 23, I believe it is. Yes, number 23 for the Bulldogs with the tackle. That is Lee, the outside linebacker, with the stop. Gain of about 1 on the play. Second down and 9 for the Hawks.
A little bit different from what we've seen in the previous games here. Lots of scoring in the first quarters. Yeah. Relatively quiet here, so great job by the defenses to be able to get some stops.
We kind of thought the defense was going to be the flavor of this game as we were talking before this game. So again, last play of the first quarter, barring a penalty, 2-by-2 set. A little bit of jet motion action happening. Handoff to the big fullback. Thrown down in the backfield by number 40 by the Bulldogs. That is Morgan Kerr, the defensive end, who absolutely shoves them down for a loss of about 4 on that. And that's going to bring up a third down at the end of the first quarter. We're going to be switching ends here. Well, basically right in front of us. Ball's at the 53. So, no scoring in the first quarter here, Dylan. And again, kind of what we thought was going to happen. The defense kind of flexing their muscles early in this game.
Yeah, both defensive units are incredibly well coached. Obviously, they have really, really talented staffs, right? Looking at the DC from the Hawks, Josh Faulkner, and then the defensive coordinator from the Bulldogs there, Jason Kerr. They have a ton of people available ready to coach. As you see both sidelines here, pretty full with coaches. So good to see.
Two very familiar names if you've been involved with London Minor. Faulkner has been with the Hawks for a long, long time. And Jason Kerr is another guy who's just come up through the ranks with the Bulldogs as well. Handoff to McCready over the right-hand side. Makes the first man miss. Penalty flags in the backfield. Holding called against the Hawks. So it'll be interesting to see. Do you decline this penalty or do you move him back 10 yards?
Yeah, so you end up, if it was me, I'd end up declining it. You're going to have 4th and 11 here. I think you trust your defense to get a stop, and you end up trusting your defense so that, if you do end up getting the stop, it's great. But if it's 3rd and whatever and they get 12 yards on the first play on the 3rd down, then you put yourself in a really tough spot.
Well, that's the other thing is if you decline the penalty, it's 4th down.
That's right.
And if you move them back the 10 yards, then you get the 30 yards on the punt. Mm-hmm. So that's the other thing. Penalty was declined. It's 4th down for the Hawks, and the Hawks are going to punt the ball, so it's going to be moved up 15 yards. So it's going to be about the 37-yard line by the time we're done here.
Yeah, so 37-yard line, again, pretty awesome start for the Hawks here. As you know, previously, they were shut out by the Bulldogs, so good to see that they haven't allowed a score yet, but they do have to get some more movement on the offensive line.
Yeah, I think both offensive lines has got to buckle down there and really start concentrating on some of their blocks. We saw some positive plays. It's just which team is going to be able to hold that together for a string of like 5 or 6 or 7 plays without that penalty or the defense making a play. That's going to be the keys. Bulldogs break the huddle. 2-by-2 set. One running back in there. H back onto the field side. Motion cross. Jet sweep handoff to big number 81. Good tackle there for the Hawks. Again, I think it was number 12. It's number 12 for the Hawks with the tackle.
And that's Tiernan DeRosier there. I believe that's the correct pronunciation. If it isn't, I do apologize. And that's what you want to see from your defense here. Strong tackling against runners who are coming at you with a full head of steam.
Yeah.
get fit up, get into the right position, make that secure tackle. That's something that you got to be proud of when you're a defensive coach.
You're running jet, though. You got to run it to the wide side of the field, not to the short
Absolutely
side.
right. You got to run it to the wide side of the field. We are on the Canadian field here. The U14 is normally used to playing on this field, so they do have a little bit of a wider field as opposed to an American setup here. As number 88 does take it for a carry. He does go for a little jog there. That's Brody Penhale. Wide receiver, typically is listed here as a wide receiver, but he's been playing halfback for most of the game.
Yeah, so needed 8 yards, got about 10 on that first down for the Bulldogs. Good run, good tackles downfield. Again, number 32 for the Hawks with the tackle. That is Quentin Herbert, again, calling his name. He's playing a defensive end position as well. So a lot of two-way players here at this level as well.
Yeah, and obviously, if you have a younger individual in your household from U10 all the way up to U14 who's remotely interested in playing football, as we had talked about previously, all you got to do is show up with cleats.
Fumble in the backfield. It's picked up by the Hawks. Okay, so you had a jet sweep happening there.
It almost looks like there was 2 jet sweeps. There might have been some some confusion there on the slot receivers from the Bulldogs. Creates a little bit of a fumble here, and they were able to pick it up and end up going for a first down. This is what exactly you want if you're the Hawks here. You get the Bulldogs offense off the field because of their own mistake, and now your offense is in a scoring position.
So let's see if the Hawks can capitalize on this. First turnover of the day is by the Bulldogs. A little bit of confusion going on up there.
Just trying to make sure they got the right personnel in the game there, I assume, as we see the Hawks offense come out.
Ball's at the 32-yard line. First down for the Hawks. Break the huddle. One running back in, offset. You've got 4 over here. That's a high snap. Bobbled around, it's bouncing around still. It's picked up by the Bulldogs. Number 77 with the fumble recovery. It's Butterworth with the recovery for the Bulldogs. And just like that, the Hawks give it right back.
Well, let's just forget the last 2 plays even happened then. So Bulldogs get the ball back, end up moving, probably about, I think, a 10-yard difference in field position. And net positive for them. So, again, 7 minutes left in the second quarter here, and the Bulldogs are looking to potentially go on a scoring drive.
So the ball's at the 38-yard line of the Bulldogs. No score here. 7:20 left to go in the half. Bulldogs break the huddle. One receiver out here, jet sweep to number 81. Makes the first man miss. Second man miss, keeps chucking along. Gets it beyond midfield, gets it beyond the 50. All the way down to about the 45-yard line. First down, Bulldogs.
And that's what you want coming right out after a turnover, right? Tom Solway, the receiver there that ended up taking the jet sweep for a first down. When you're looking at how you want to move the ball against this Hawks defense, the Hawks seem to have a little bit of a smaller defensive interior unit. When you're looking at the defensive tackles, they might be there's a couple that are just, a little bit smaller than the Bulldogs offensive line, so you might look to take advantage of that later in the game.
You ask us, if you're thinking, how did we kind of get to thinking that this was going to be such a defensive game? I'll go over a stat that I kind of saw here a little while ago. So inside handoff to number 10, takes it straight ahead. Good gain on the play. Going over the scores here from the Bulldogs. Week 1, 27-0 over the Hawks. Week 2, 14-0 over the Wolverines. Sensing a trend. Yep. 35-0 over the Rams. 24-0 over the Cobras. 22-0 over the Red Storm. 36-6. They've given up 6 points all year.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit envious as a defensive coordinator myself. So, obviously, they have a great scheme. They have some great athletes that do some incredible things. So, obviously, they were able to get here by having a strong defense. But they've also put up a lot of points, too, in each game that they played. That's a great stop by number 12, Tiernan DeRosier, coming up from the defensive backfield position. Great stop to leave it with a 3rd and short here for the Bulldogs.
Third down, yep.
5:50 left in this.
Third down and 2, 5:50 left in the third quarter. We were talking about the defenses. The Hawks, to their credit, they're probably number 2 in defense. They pitch a couple shutouts, beat a couple really close games, 35-0 over the Rams, 13-12. The Cobras beat the Hawks, so that was kind of an upset. 14-0 over the Wolverines. So you start to see both these defenses playing really, really tight. And another big stand by the Hawks.
That's big number 90, Maddox Forbes, with the stop there as the defense. I think he's the strong side defensive tackle there, getting a little bit of a mismatch and taking advantage of it.
So 4th down and about 1 here. Bulldogs are leaving the offense out. 4 minutes, 50 seconds left to go. Bulldogs break the huddle. Tight formation under center. Timeout is called by the Bulldogs.
And I think that when you're at this position in the half, you take your timeout here, right? You got the 3-minute warning break coming up. Take a timeout, rally the troops, so to speak, and get yourself an opportunity to put some points on the board here.
So again, it's very quick moving, very clean. Not a lot of penalties in the game.
Yeah, only a couple to start the game. So very clean, definitely good. And both teams obviously getting organized, getting on the ball relatively quick, and making sure that they can get off the ball.
So 4th down and 1. It looked like they were going to go with the love shove.
Yep, probably. The tush push, as they say.
So do you come out with something else? Do you fake it and, quick little hitter?
I'm very much
the Hawks are a lot bigger interior-wise against the Bulldogs. I like to go kind of
against the norm here. I'm very much an advocate for the little, quarterback sneak. He puts the ball back, puts it back behind him, and a wide receiver comes on a jet and takes it.
Oh, the old Statue of Liberty.
I love it. We ran it when I was in high school. We also ran it when I was in university. You love it. You love to see it because it looks like the slot receiver's coming in to add into the formation to help block, but he just doesn't stop running, takes the ball, and if you have a defense that's really compact and condensed against your offensive unit, it's a great opportunity.
Inside handoff. It's number 88.
Quick hitter looking like a first down.
Yeah,
there.
I got enough. So number 88, the ball carrier.
That's Brody Penhale again. We said his names a few times.
I like that they didn't, Nate White's got a great arm, but he's not the biggest kid in the world.
No, but he's also incredibly intelligent.
I've
spent some time around him so far with the travel team that he's playing on. Very cerebral. He's very good at picking his spots and where he wants to put the ball. No, he doesn't blow off the charts when it comes to athleticism, but he does everything else right and does everything else the right way.
2x2 with fullback also to the boundary side of the field. Inside handoff to number 10. Straight ahead. Good job. Gain of about 6 on the play. 2nd down. 3 minutes, 40 seconds left to go in the half. No score. Bulldogs in Hawks territory. Driving. 2nd down and 4. Tyson Gabriel has been getting a lot of the work here for the Bulldogs, number 10.
Yeah, between him and Penhale, they've been able to do a really good job on the ground so far. We're going to see that pistol formation again for the Bulldogs with 2 receivers to the boundary. Nate White, quick handoff to Penhale as he makes his way up the middle. Tackled hard by number 32, Quentin Herbert. We've said his name a few times as well. He's been coming up to make some plays here.
Needed 4, got 5. First down for the Bulldogs. Continue to move it.
Yeah, they ask you how many do you need. You say just 1 more, right? You need 4 yards. How many you need? Just 1 more yard. You end up getting 5 and end up getting a first down in a critical part of the game.
So clock is stopped. 3-minute warning. Hawks have 2 timeouts. Bulldogs have 1. Three receivers line up to the field. One to the boundary. Fullback is also offset to the boundary. Inside handoff to number 10. Good gain on the play of about 4 yards, brought together by Matthew Forbes. Cleans it up after a gain of about 2 or 3. Second down for the Bulldogs.
Like that little bubble screen motion. Sorry to cut you off there, Coach. You like that bubble screen motion that they had Penhale going on towards the closer sideline here? Because if you notice that they start not adjusting to that when we hand off the ball, you just quickly pull it and get it out there. You have the man advantage. You have 3 receivers out there compared to 2 defensive backs, right? You have the advantage. Try to see if you can get a mismatch.
Little swing pass to number 10. Brought up to make a tackle. Big tackle out there by number 33 for the Hawks. Brody Ross with the stop. Pushes them out of bounds after a gain of about 5. That's going to be a third down and about 4.
And great for the linebacker Ross there to get all the way out there to cover his assignment, right? Very difficult as a running back to cover a full speed very difficult as a linebacker to cover a full speed running back coming out of the backfield. So props to him for able to keeping it to a minimal gain there. About third and a long 5 here.
Yeah, about third and 5 here. Jet motion coming across, handoff to number 81. Trying to get to the edge. Good pursuit out there. Good low tackle out there by number 9.
And we said their name again. Daniel Draper with the tackle there, I believe, just because they do have 2 number 9s listed on the roster. Great tackle, right? That's what you expect from your corners, right? Force them back inside. Try to make as best of a fit-up tackle as you can.
Needed 6 yards, got 7. It isn't enough to move the sticks. First down.
Just one more, Coach. Just one more.
First down and goal for the Bulldogs here. Bulldogs driving, 2:14 left to go in the half. No score in this U14 London Minor Championship game. Citywide field. Hawks in double blue. Bulldogs in white with blue numbers with the ball. Handoff to number 88. Short gain of a couple on the play.
And tackled by his counterpart in the double blue, number 88, Max Brote. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, again, once I apologize there. Great tackle there by a gang of the U14 Hawks to be able to, again, stop them for a minimal gain. I believe it's second and goal, but I think they're about 5 yards out here.
Second and goal from about the 5. Clock is running. No score in this game. Second quarter. Bulldogs are on the doorstep, taking the lead in this game. Low snap. Handoff to number 88. That's the horse collar.
Okay. Yeah, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
You can't get that high up on the defender.
Well, he got inside the cylinder of the shoulder pad, and he went with a change of motion, a jerking motion, to alter or change the motion of the player. That is the definition of a horse collar. That is what a horse collar was. First and goal at the 1. $1:34 left to go.
And with how well that the Bulldogs have moved the ball so far, very difficult for the Hawks defense to get a stop here. Again, I believe that it's a first down.
It's an automatic first down.
Yeah, so I'm expecting either Penhale or Gabriel to get the ball here on just a little quick hitter, hand the ball off real quick, get it up and into the end zone.
Hawks really reduced down that defensive line. Everybody's really tight up in there. Calls his own number. Got to give a yard. He got the yard. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Bulldogs into the touchdown.
Just want to confirm the number on that touchdown, but again, it is a score for the Bulldogs. I believe it may have been number 88, but
I thought it was Gabriel.
Or maybe even Gabriel there as well. We'll see on the replay. Let's see once they stand up here.
Can't really tell.
Ultimately, at the end of the day, they scored.
It was. I thought Gabriel lined up in that quarterback in that position.
Maybe, definitely, because I don't assume that they would want to risk Nate White doing a quick hitting sneak there.
So pistol formation. So again, if it's run across the end zone, it's 1. If you throw it in like this, it's worth 2.
That's right.
Bulldogs get the 2 points conversion. 1:25 left to go in half. Bulldogs jump out to an 8-0 lead.
Now, the ball has to cross the end zone
Yes.
and get caught before for the 2-point conversion. You can't run like a swing pass and then run it in.
Because
the end
that's,
zone.
it's got to be caught in the end zone for it to be a 2-point conversion.
Mm-hmm.
So the Hawks have had some good drives. They just haven't, again, just which one is going to be able to have that finish. We saw the Bulldogs with that finish on that one. McCready's run the ball hard. They've got some big physical guys. I don't want to really change anything if I'm the Hawks here.
I wouldn't either, right? They're doing some great things on offense and being able to move the ball, get their offensive line involved in the running game where they're running those jet sweeps and getting the ball out early. Ultimately, you might have to take a shot through the air here as much as the wind is definitely not in their favor. You might try to use McCready's height against some of the smaller defenders that the Bulldogs have, but we'll see what they go with here.
So end around and McCready motions from the left to go back to the right there. Takes it over the side. Flags on the play. Another flag on the play, so we got multiple flags.
Yeah, looking like it may have been some sort of horse collar or face masking penalty there. But we'll see what they end up calling.
I thought they pointed against the Hawks, to be honest with you. It shouldn't have been. So it's a 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. It is against the Bulldogs. Unnecessary roughness, face mask called against the Bulldogs. 15-yard penalty, and the Hawks have the ball in Bulldog territory at the 50-yard line. 1:16 left to go. They do have both timeouts.
And I was about to mention that, Coach. They do have both timeouts left. 1:16 remaining on the clock. Those are not the kind of penalties that you want to give up if you are the Bulldogs, especially when you do only have a one-score lead here. There's enough time for them to score and get the 2-point conversion here with the 2 timeouts. So interesting to see how they got McCready the ball there. Motioned him pre-snap and then brought him back into the backfield. So I would assume they go back to that later in the game. But he's been doing an incredible job running the ball. He's a hard runner for someone who might not necessarily have all the weight in the caboose there.
McCready takes the ball over the left-hand side, explodes for a gain of 6. That's going to be a second down. They're going to give him a gain of 5, second down, and we're going to call it 5.
Definitely an impressive runner so far from what we've seen from the Hawks. They might need to diversify a little bit who they're giving the ball to, but at the end of the day, like you said, Coach, at the earlier games, I'm going to run it right until you figure out how to stop it.
Hawks break the huddle, a little bit of jet motion action. Big hit in the backfield right away.
And that's number 13 from the Bulldogs there, Tyson Weber, the defensive end, making the big stop for the loss of yards there. Number 66, Adriano Rivera, coming in late as well to secure the tackle.
So the Hawks call a timeout here.
Yeah, that about checks out. You got 48 seconds left. Get your offense regrouped here. Third and about, 8 maybe. Oh, they might.
Third, no gain on the play.
Okay, fair
so
enough.
Third down and 5 here.
Mm-hmm.
We see the coaches come out. Coach, put your offensive coordinating hat on. What are you calling here on a third down and 5?
I might be a little bit biased here just because based off of the U12 game and what we do so well, but if I have an athlete at quarterback here, I'm going to run that same motion that got McCready, that 30-yard gain, and I'm going to boot the quarterback off of it, fake the handoff, boot him around the corner, because that's who they're going to key in on, right, is that McCready toss, jet sweep, whatever. But when you end up having the play action off of it, keep the ball, stick it on your hip, run around, and end up trying to see if you can get some yards here.
Defensively, you bringing pressure, or you playing under?
I'm a very big pressure guy. As you saw in the previous game, if they have a guy, you want to bring pressure at that guy. You want to meet him as early as possible. Maybe try something off the edge, some sort of halfback blitz maybe, but leave the box contained. Leave the box the way it is. Just because you have been stopping them relatively quickly on the run. You haven't allowed very many huge gains there. So keep it consistent, keep it easy, and allow your players to play their gaps.
Split back formation, pistol, 2x2 set. Pressure coming. Handoff to McCready, takes it over the right-hand side. McCready's off to the races. Makes the first man miss, keeps going. He's still driving his legs. McCready is off to the races. Dive. He's going to be short of the touchdown, but he's inside the 10. Big play by the Hawks.
That was an incredible run, an incredible effort by McCready there. I believe he broke 3 different tackles on the play. One of them he kind of swung around and then continued to run. He is incredibly fast and incredibly agile, something that as a defense you haven't seen him since week 1. He may not have even played in that week 1 game. So just developing the offense is something the Bulldogs may not have seen before, allows the Hawks to be in scoring position with 32 seconds left.
Hawks break the huddle. Bulldogs brought a lot of pressure on that last play. They broke the pressure, and big play happened. Pistol formation. Inside handoff to McCready. Drives forward. Touchdown, Hawks!
And that's the way you want to do it, right? Let your bell cow back, finish off the drive, get a score here. Now, the trouble is going to be, we haven't seen the Hawks throw once all day. Are they going to try and match the 2-point conversion from the Bulldogs? Or are they just going to allow McCready or one of their other running backs,
Well, it won't be McCready as he's coming off a little bit dinged up on this particular play. So it won't be McCready getting the ball.
That's fair. It looks like it might be some sort of back or arm injury there for him. He's got his helmet off, walking off to the sideline. Hey, take your rest, big fella. You earned it. Let's see what the Hawks are going to try to do on this point after attempt.
You know, from coaching enough of these games, you don't want to chase what the other team's doing. You want to run what you run. If you run it in, run it in. If you pass it, then pass it. So they are back to pass, taking a shot, throwing it up for grabs. Pass falls incomplete. 8-6, 14 seconds left to go in the half. And the Bulldogs are going to get the ball to start the second half.
I don't hate that play call, though.
No.
I think if you have a taller receiver, it's a little bit more of a legitimate play call. I just think that they are ready for it. As soon as they boot right, everyone just runs to the back of the end zone, keep everything in front of you.
So the Bulldogs are going to get the ball here, leading 8-6. Very quick moving half of football. Well played by both teams. Just waiting for all the players to come on here.
I don't know about you, but as a coach, I'd be telling them to not be walking on the football field.
It drives me nuts.
It drives me absolutely crazy to see guys walking on the field. And I know we had our fair share of guys walking on the last game as well, so I always try to remember, hey, if you're going to at least walk, do the lineman shuffle. Right? You pump your arms a little bit, get your knees up a little bit, and it simulates it, but it doesn't get you too tired.
Yeah, I don't want to simulate anything. You get going.
That's fair enough.
Get going.
Fair enough. You got to get them going and get on the ball here. You got 9 seconds left. Probably got 2 plays left, maybe, or this might be the last one of the half. So we'll see what they want to do here. I try to throw it up to maybe number 81 here. Oh, and there is a timeout called by the Bulldogs.
By the Bulldogs or the Hawks?
I don't know.
I think the Hawks did. Should be 14 seconds left. It shouldn't have gone. The play shouldn't have been blown in.
And then we got the third team coming over here. The Zebras coming to just adjust the clock here. And they're saying, they're going to be 14 seconds left on the clock here to continue and ensure that we get the right time on the clock there.
Yeah.
Something that was odd about the last game, the clock didn't stop in between plays. It ran for the entire first quarter.
It does.
Which was crazy.
It does. Unless it goes out of bounds at this level, it runs.
They go back during the last game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, when the ball goes out of bounds, clock stops, all that good stuff. But it's going to be interesting to see. We get the 14 seconds put on the clock here. And
so it was the Hawks that called the timeout.
Yeah, Hawks called the timeout. Bulldogs are ready to go. I would assume you're going to see some sort of passing play to either number 81, that is going to be Tom Solway, the wide receiver, or you can even try to get Penhale involved in the passing game, number 88. You do have those taller wide receivers that you have available to you. I would try to use them here.
You know, myself, I got a 2-point lead, 14 seconds on my 35-yard line. I'm handing the ball off. Maybe one of my guys can break it. If not, I'm going to the halftime with a lead, and I get the ball to start the second half.
Fair enough. And as a coach, right, you think about, we got a double reverse here.
So a reverse, number 81 with the ball. Again, a lot of side running for a gain of about 9.
9-yard gain, 6 seconds left on the clock here. I believe he got out of bounds, but we'll confirm here with the third team.
So the Bulldogs call timeout now.
Okay. Oh,
Or no, the Hawks did.
They give him the first down.
So they did give him the first down. One of the teams called timeout.
Yeah. There's 4 timeouts, however that shakes out.
3 of them have been called. This will be the last play, barring a penalty of the first half. 8-6. Bulldogs do lead over the Hawks. Thank you for joining us here from windy Citywide Field, also known as the Wind Tunnel. I'm the coach, Ron Forwarded, joined by Dylan Sherville. Producer Adam over on cameras. Producer Stephanie doing a fantastic job. Simon Cantor updating our stats. Shivering behind us, wearing a little blankie. Lawson, the real star of the show. He's the one that's, we're going, holy cap, it's like windy down here. Like, you go up in the air 6 feet, see how it is.
Oh, yeah. You don't get much cover there.
Bulldogs break the huddle, 6 seconds left, 8-6. They lead. 3 receivers to the field, 1 to the boundary. Back to pass. Ball hangs up there. Pass falls incomplete, 1 second left. So, if the ball's going the other way, I think that's got a chance. But because he's thrown into the wind, I'm not sure that you got much of a chance on that. They tried to get that one-on-one, that isolation of your fast receiver on another DB. Didn't work out that way, though.
And I believe that was Cabral Lucas or Brody Bale. I didn't quite catch whether it was 20 or 21 as the number there that they were trying to throw to. He also needed to get back to the ball, right? The DB forced him outside, which is exactly what he should do, right? Use the sideline as that extra defender. He has to fight back inside if he wants to make that catch, especially because of how long the ball's going to hang in the air for.
1 second left, last play of the half. Bulldogs break the huddle. One running back in, 2 receivers to the field, plus a slot back, 2 to the boundary. White's back to pass. Pressure coming, and he's sacked by number 90.
And that's big number 90, Maddox Forbes. We've called his name a few times as being an absolute menace on the defensive line for the Hawks. Gets another sack here as we go into the half.
So that's the end of the first half of the Lmfa-U14 championship game. Low-scoring game, kind of like what we thought it was going to be. 8-6, Bulldogs lead. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with second half action. And welcome back to London Minor Championship game here at Citywide Field. I am Ron Forwerder, joined by Dylan Sherville, producer Stephanie Melrose, and Adam Melrose, cameraman Adam Melrose, Simon doing our stats, Lawson doing our great camera work. We have the Hawks out of St. Thomas and the Bulldogs out of London. Really good barn burner of a game. 8-6 is your score. We kind of thought this was going to be a defensive game coming into this game.
Yeah, definitely defensive oriented based off of how well these teams have progressed so far this year. And the score would indicate that it's been, kind of boring, defensive, whatever, but both teams have moved the ball relatively well. They have their shots. They just haven't been able to fully take advantage of it on a scoring drive. I believe both scores came in the second quarter.
Yeah.
In the second half of the second quarter. So starting to see some movement on for both teams here. It'll be interesting to see what these halftime adjustments are made to kind of deal and interact with that. Just because both teams kind of have their style, right? You're trying to get McCready to the outside for the Hawks, whereas, the Bulldogs are trying to run those, off tackle, some jet sweeps, but they've also thrown the ball as well. So a little bit more to prepare for if you're on the side of the Hawks defense. But I'm expecting another defensive showdown here, just because those adjustments at halftime can make all the difference.
Well, the wind is now at the Bulldogs' back, and Nate White can throw the ball. We've seen that at the summer level. So if there's going to be passing in this game from the Bulldogs, it might be coming up now.
Yep.
So that's something to keep in mind. The Bulldogs get the ball to start the second half, and we're just about underway here. 1 half left of our broadcast year here at Citywide Field. Again, Bulldogs white jerseys, blue trim, Hawks in their traditional double blue. And here we go. 2 receivers to the field, 2 to the boundary. Also a fullback or H-back slot lined up to the field here. So 3-by-2 look. 1 running back in. Hands off straight ahead. Tackle made by number 90 for the Hawks after a gain of about 5, second down.
That's Maddox Forbes with the tackling Gabriel on the run there. Maddox, we've said his name quite a few times now. Very strong as a defensive tackle here for the Hawks. Has been causing a whole ton of problems for the Bulldogs in the first half.
So gain of 5 on the play, second down and 5 for the Bulldogs. It's time 2 running backs in the backfield. 2-by-2 set. Pistol formation. Handoff to number 88. Cuts it back into the middle. Big hit. No gain on the play. Maybe throwing down for a loss. He started turning it back in, then went back out. I think they're going to give him a loss of maybe 1.
And that's an incredible tackle by Brody Ross there. Just came up, great fit up tackle, hit, press, pump your feet, move forward, and stop a runner that's at full tilt there. It's a great job.
So third down, we're going to call it long 7 now. So third down and 7 for the Bulldogs. Opening drive of the second half here.
And like you said, Coach, the ball's at Nate White's back, and he knows how to throw the ball. A huge stop here from number 32, Quentin Herbert, on the tackle in the backfield. Gabriel hit as soon as he got the ball, so a huge loss for the Bulldogs here. Brings it up to 4th and about 11, I think.
Yeah, and they've already decided they elected to punt, so the Hawks get their stop on defense. Turning it over, big play for the Hawks.
And they start with relatively good field position here. They're not on their 20. They're about on the 45 here, pushing just a little bit past midfield here. So it could be interesting to see how the Hawks come out on offense. Are we going to see kind of your steady dose of Kieran McCready again? Or are we going to see a few other weapons get involved in the offense here?
Well, we saw Herbert carry the ball as well there in the first half.
That's right. Herbert did get the ball a few times as well, albeit not a ton of success as McCready, but honestly, you get that smash and dash kind of style between the 2 different backs.
So again, the Bulldogs defense had only given up 6 points during the regular season. They do lead 8-6. I don't see McCready out on the field right now.
He's the H-back right now. They have They have four to the field, one to the boundary here as McCready motions over.
That overload. Hand off to Herbert. Takes it over the left-hand side. Gain of about 4, maybe 5 on the play.
Yeah, with forward progress, giving them 5, and that's the exact motion that you want, right? Because then what you can do is you can pull it from that action to Herbert and pitch it to McCready, which they've already done that this game. So to get Herbert up the middle, exactly where he excels, getting a body on a body, getting a 5-yard gain, positive yardage for the Hawks here.
2nd down and 5 for the Hawks. Ball's at the 51-yard line. Early third quarter here. Three to the boundary. Motion over. So again, that inside handoff. This time he's met in the backfield, thrown down for a loss. Maybe one, kicks it back to the 50-yard line.
Maybe he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
No, we're spotted. It's definitely back for a yard. Nope, they spotted at the line of scrimmage. Okay.
Forward progress, right? Taking him to where he needs to be. But you would have loved to see that, the pull, right? Pull, play action there, give it to
There was pressure right away.
Exactly. They brought pressure right up the middle.
So again, motion McCready over. There it is. Handoff to McCready, taking around the end around. It's met in the backfield by a number of Bulldogs. Going to give him a gain of about 1. Decision time here for the Hawks. Do you punt the ball and play the field position game?
Because you're getting the 30-yard gain here, I punt it. Specifically because you're going to push it back 30 yards, get them back to about, the 35 maybe. Punt the ball, take the field advantage. You've shown that you can stop the Bulldogs offense. Trust in your defense to get the job done.
That's exactly what they do. So both teams go 3 and out on their opening drives of the second half. A couple adjustments made. We're going to have President Scott Wilkins join us here in a few seconds. Just get yourself situated on that headset. Bring you in, Scotty. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks, Ron.
So, great game here, 8-6.
Awesome.
5 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Bulldogs with the ball here. We're going to ask you a couple questions about the league in general in a few moments here. Bulldogs in that pistol formation. Handoff inside. Great defense played here by both teams.
Yeah, defense is alive and well in LMFA, and these two teams are phenomenal at it, and it's been really fun to watch them all year, and I'm glad to see the battle we're seeing today.
So 2nd down and 4. Let's talk about the year that you guys have had. What are some successes that you've experienced in the year? Obviously, everyone always kind of puts winning a championship to success, but from a league perspective, there's a lot more successes that happen other than just a team winning and or losing.
Yeah, for sure. And this year, I would say the big thing is we're still building back our numbers from COVID and everything there. We're getting up near 600 players in the league again. This is our first year bringing all 8 teams back at the U10 level.
Yeah.
Last year was our first year bringing all 8 teams back at the U12 level. So we're seeing that growth and improvement each year, and I don't think the product on the field has suffered at all with that expansion. It's really growing, and we've brought in new coaches, new players, and it's been a really successful year.
Inside handoff, straight ahead this time, over the right-hand side. Looks like he got enough for a first down. We're just waiting on the final spot of it. Definitely enough for a first down, so the Bulldogs get their first down of the second half. And again, we talked about, the league went through a retraction through COVID. I don't know an organization that didn't go through that, at any sport and any level. It's great to see that football is alive and well. And some of the investments that the league has made into equipment and some of the other things that you guys have done, what are some of the plans going forward for the league?
Yeah, so, every year we're looking for different ways in which we can upgrade the equipment and, whether it's the jerseys, the practice jerseys, new helmets coming in every year. replacing some of the shoulder pads, all that kind of stuff is happening. This year we are allowing Guardian caps into the league. So as it stands right now, if you personally purchase a Guardian cap, it is legal to wear that in game play as well as practice. And we saw a few players out here this year with the Guardian caps.
Well, we actually see one of the players for the Bulldogs, they actually have the Guardian cap on during the game. You know, the Guardian cap, to somebody who's not familiar with it, what is that and what does that help do?
So it's a protective layer you can wear on the outside of your helmet. You'll see it's this padding, and you're starting to see it even in the NFL in gameplay. That players are able to wear it, and it provides additional cushioning and protection to prevent concussions and other head injuries.
Supposed to reduce concussions by like 40% on average, isn't it?
That's what I've heard. Yeah, 40%. The other statistic that isn't as talked about is also the cooling effect it has as well, by 30% for the cooling, so you're not getting as overheated in them in the summer months.
Especially, I was going to say, especially like this league starts in early August.
Yeah.
So, you know, by the time you get your equipment in the hands out, it's still 30, 35 degrees outside. It's warm, it's hot, and it's humid. So, you know, that is definitely a factor that goes into it. Coaches, you know, like always looking for new coaches and everything else. You know, it's like myself, it's great to see guys like an old dog like Josh Faulkner and Jason Kerr who are still around here coaching and stuff. But, you know, earlier today, you know, some of former players who were playing in this league not that long ago, giving back, and they're helping out as assistant coaches and student coaches. You know, this is a great program and a great opportunity for kids who might want to get some coaching experience in there, and also your volunteer hours.
Yeah, we have, I think it's about, I bet you it's about 60 kids a year out of high schools that are coming out as volunteer coaches. And I'll tell you, they're not just putting in the time, you know, messing around at practice and that. We're seeing kids come out and make meaningful coaching impacts on these teams as high school kids volunteering and getting their volunteer hours. And it's been a great program that we've had with these student coaches. And we see a lot of them grow into becoming actual coaches within the league here, and then moving on and coaching at the other levels in summer football or high school football as well.
3rd down and 8 for the Bulldogs here. 1 minute left to go in the third quarter. Jet sweep action, handed off to number 88, taking it over the right-hand side. Be the story of the day. The defense holds strong again. And just a really, really good job. That number 90 is a great player for the Hawks.
Yeah, Maddox Forbes, he's been making tons of plays all day for the Hawks on defense to be able to keep them in this game, right? The Bulldogs have only ever allowed 6 points to any team so far this year, and we're going to elect a punt. So the Hawks are going to get the ball again with about 40 seconds left in the third quarter. And a question to you there, so kind of what's the future look like for the LMFA? Is there any potential, obviously, if numbers match up, is there expansion on the horizon, or is there any sort of initiatives that London Minor Football would like to expand into to be able to grow the game in the city?
Great question. So right now, the hope is to expand the numbers per team within these 8 teams across 3 divisions. So we have 24 teams, and we're looking to improve upon the coaching across the board on that stuff, as well as getting the number of players on each roster up. U14 this year was very strong, and we were able to play 12 on 12. Right now we're playing 10 on 10 at U12, and we're playing 8 on 8 at U10. We would love to see those both improve to, 11 on 11, 12 on 12, something like that as we go, before we look to expand to additional teams. But there has been interest outside of the city to look back at once we had a Strathroy team, maybe looking there. Once there's lots of talk about Woodstock as well. So those are things that are on the on the perimeter right now that are considered. But as it stands right now, we just want to strengthen what we have.
Perfect, and that's a great way to go about it, especially when, higher quality coaching means that you're going to end up having better, not better athletes, but more educated players making these decisions instead of kind of just going out there kind of scared, right? So we do get some flags thrown on the play here. We'll see what happens as a result.
Scott, I'm going to ask another question with regards to the officials. London Miners always had a great great relationship with the officials. We can't play this game without officials. This is a teaching league for a lot of the refs, and we see today some younger refs that not a lot of us have seen before getting out here and participating in championship days.
Yeah, we've had a really good partnership with the officials, and we've been working with them to help build their pipeline of officials. And so we are encouraging lots of youthful individuals to come out, learn, go through the process to become an official, and we use LMFA as that sort of teaching ground. And often out here on Sundays, you'll see an official that is in just sort of a black jacket standing beside a younger official in stripes, and they're just helping them learn the ropes and learn, when do you throw that flag, how do you run the stick crew, how do you keep the coaches back, that sort of thing on the sidelines to get them involved.
And one thing, as someone who's actually gone through that process, it's incredibly helpful to learn at this league where, all the high schools play during the day.
Yes.
So if you're someone who has a 9-to-5 or does want to impact the game at a higher level or at a deeper level in a more community base, come and ref at the London Minor football games. You'll learn a ton. It's the closest you're ever going to be to actually playing on the field, right? And they do an incredible job.
Yeah, they do a great job, and we've been working with them along with we actually had some meetings in the off season with some of the high school programs, with the summer programs, on how we can help them to streamline the way to get someone into the officiating circuit. And I think we're starting to see that pay off, and we saw some new faces this year, which is nice.
Well, that's always important to get new blood in there, not only player wise but coaching wise but refereeing wise. Next steps for London Minor, there's that challenge series this year. Go down the 401 to play the teams out of Windsor.
Yeah, that's right. So we have our Friendship Bowl against Windsor, our all-star game. It happens 2 weeks from today down in Windsor. We start tomorrow night prepping for that. As soon as this championship game's over, we get into that mode. We have 2 weeks to pull together an all-star team across all 8 teams at all 3 age divisions and go down there and try and defend. We were 3 for 3 last year, and we're going to go try and defend it again.
Third down, snap is bobbled. Pressure coming right away, met in the backfield by the Bulldogs. And they're number 40, that's the guy I was trying to point out earlier. He's the one wearing the Guardian cap for the Bulldogs. So that is, producer or cameraman Adam, he's around somewhere, and I know he's got his little earbuds on listening to that. If you can get a shot of what a Guardian cap, there it is. See, you ask and you shall receive. Great job, Adam. But that's the Guardian cap that, it's receiving a lot of buzz. Price-wise, they're not that bad. I think they were like $85 or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's about right. And yeah, they're not crazy expensive. They seem to be incredibly effective. I think we're going to see a lot more of those moving forward.
Well, the Beefeaters, another team, an organization that, we are involved with London Football TV, but they mandated all their players have a Guardian cap at practice. So that one of their fundraisers that they did over the offseason was raising money so they can have Guardian caps across the board. So I know that was one of the first teams in the province to do that. Bulldogs with the ball here after the third down stop. Back to pass, falls incomplete. It's going to be tough to throw this way into that wind.
Yeah.
I thought if they're going to throw, I thought it'd be going, the Bulldogs would have done it in the third quarter. But second down after the incomplete pass, we were talking about the All-Star game in Windsor in 2 weeks. It's not only All-Star players, it's coaching staffs.
Yeah, absolutely. We do our best to make sure that we've got representation from multiple staffs coming together. So we've got... So that we can take this opportunity to learn from each other as well. You can see a different way of doing things, maybe help coach in a different offense or defense than you're used to, see what happens behind the scenes at these other sites. And every year we have coaches come away and they learn something new and they pick it up and maybe they tweak it for themselves and bring it back into their own program. And we just help the whole team league grow.
It's always been one of the things I've loved being involved in when I was coaching with the league. because it really is that sharing of ideas, that sharing of concepts. Hey, what do you guys do here? You ran this with a lot of success. What did you do here? Football really is a community of sharing ideas and sharing opportunities, especially at the high school level. Great pass by White, falls incomplete. Had a guy there. That was a great throw into that wind. Brings up a 4th down. So now, with the ball being on this side, it's only 15 yards to punt it, and that's exactly what they're choosing to do. So both teams are playing the field position game. 8-6 still is what the score is. No scoring in the second half. Scott, who are the coaches who are going to be the head coaches for each of the programs going forward this year?
So we have at the U10 level, we have Sly Sarfo coming down. He actually coached one of the U14 teams.
The Cobras.
Yeah, but he has one of his boys playing for the Hawks they played in the championship game earlier today, and so he'll be coaching the U10 team. We have Bruno DeSando at the U12, who you saw in this championship game just before this.
Yep.
And then at the U14 is Coach Andrew from the Hawks.
Very good. So again, you're going to have different, you're going to have different coordinators and different positional coaches on these teams, and it's a great opportunity to share. Back to pass, high pass. Kind of saw what they're trying to do. They're trying to get that, throw it up there and let my guy run under it. Pass falls incomplete, 2nd down. Great success here again today. Great partnership. Tons of fans here from both teams. 2 of the best supported programs in the city as well.
Absolutely.
Scott, any kind of closing remarks? Any final thoughts that you think about? About the year, about the day, just in general.
We're just so happy with the way this year went and the success that these players had on the field. And we're just excited for another season next year. We're going to be running our off-season programs on Friday nights at Center Field. That'll start up in January, so look out for that. If you're not following London Minor Football Association on Facebook, I suggest that you do. That's where the fastest way you're going to get all the details of different programs and camps like that in the off-season, as well as when we open up registration for next year.
Is there a website that people can look at for information as well?
Lmfa-football.ca.
Scott Wilkins, president of London Minor Football, thank you very much for joining us here for this 3rd and 4th quarter. We're going to kind of take over and call it. You're more than welcome to stay here and kind of help call some of the game, but I really wanted to bring you into the broadcast. And
no, I appreciate it.
I know that, the bringing it back to 8 teams across the board was a really strategic move, and it's a smart move. From my perspective of things as a former coach, if you're coaching Adam, you better have a strong, tight program behind you. Yeah. You always need that feeder system.
Exactly.
So now that you've got that feeder behind you at all sites, only success builds from that. So that's a lot of things. It's a big penalty there on the, I think it was a horse collar or face mask? Face mask? Okay.
Well, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks so much for being here to do this. We really appreciate it. I know the players really enjoy the broadcast, and I love everything you guys are doing. I appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it. Scott Wilkins, president of London Minor Football, joining us here for the second half of this game. Handoff to McCready, falls, met in the backfield, tackled. Just really, Dylan, just great guy. That Scott's a former player, London Minor. I remember coaching against him, back in the day, just a really smart heads-up guy. They got a great board working together, and it really is, guys. If you're interested in coaching, like we were talking earlier today about some of the student coaches that we saw out there. It's a great opportunity to get your volunteer hours. You can't graduate in the province of Ontario without at least 40 community service hours. This is a great way of paying back the game. Hand off to number 5 this time, taking the jet sweep, taking it around. You can't swing them around. So that's, flags are thrown on that. Unfortunately, the young man is a little bit dinged up here.
And that was number 5, Xavier Looper on the carry there. First time I believe he's touched the ball today.
Yeah.
But again, the ref's doing a great job at that. You can't swing someone around like that. So yeah, just truly unfortunate that happened. Hopefully the player is okay. We got medical staff coming to check in on him. And as someone who went through the entire London Minor program myself, right, all the way from Tyke all the way up to Pee Wee, right, great program to be a part of. Fortunately, I had some amazing coaches in my time at London Minor. So you're just going to be able to get and be a part of something that's a little bit bigger than yourself, right? You know, a lot of these parents, you know, they're Hawks parents or they're Bulldogs parents, but in the end of the day, we're all London Minor football players, right? And the more players that we get out, it's going to benefit more and more people overall. So if you do have a kid who's remotely interested in football, and again, you just got to show up and get your cleats, right? That's it. They'll give you the helmet, they'll give you the shoulder pads, jersey, practice jersey, all that good stuff.
And
all you got to do is show up in cleats.
And I got news for you. There's a lot of, having been involved with a lot of these different programs as well, there's kind of a community bucket that everyone has. You know, like, hey, my son's outgrowing these cleats. I'm going to kind of donate them to somebody else, you know. So Canadian Tire Jumpstart Fund, you know, there's different ways of getting involved. As people say, well, you know, it costs a lot. Relatively speaking,
how much does it cost to play hockey? Right.
I got another one. What's it cost to play soccer in the city?
I have no idea now, but I remember back when I was playing, it was almost $200-$300, and football was $150.
Yeah.
So that's going back one heck of a ways, almost 20 years now. But at the end of the day, it's a great sport to get involved in, not only because you're developing, you know, a child that's going to need to learn things like discipline, have structure, have something where they do have to be part of something that's bigger than themselves as a team, right? These things that they're not only just creating good football players, but you're creating great people that also are involved in the community, right? So as you see by the many student athletes that come and they volunteer with the teams during the fall.
You know, you could have a great soccer player take over a game. You can have a great hockey player take over a game. It takes 12 to play football. It really does. You could have a great football player, but if your guy doesn't make a block, if your guy doesn't, you know, if people don't do their job, you know, the success of the team is not going to happen. Good tackle there. McCready, the ball carrier, just tackled by number 21 from the Bulldogs. That's Juwan Kim. Short gain on the play. We are entering 5 minutes left to go. Hawks driving here, aided by a couple penalties. They are inside the 40 at about the 37-yard line. 2nd down and 10, we'll call it.
And if we notice in this pistol formation, Maddox Forbes has come in as the fullback there. Herbert might not be on the field right now as they give the ball to McCready, who gains about maybe 3 or 4 here on the ground.
So McCready with the carry over the right-hand side. Again, these guys have battled all day. Exactly 4 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the ball game. No scoring in the second half. 8-6, the Bulldogs do lead. But again, the Hawks are driving.
And reminiscent of that U10 championship game earlier today, where you had all the scoring in the first half, very limited scoring and moving the ball in the second half. Very clear to see that both of these programs preach the same things, tough defense and running the football. And that's what you're going to see a lot of overall in the London Minor games as we see a sweep here. I believe that's Herbert, number 32, carrying the ball here for
big tackle. Good job. Look at see, this is what I mean about team. Okay, football being a great. Look at how the team tackled on that. The first guy was there to fit him up, wasn't going any further, and then everybody else filled in. It is 4th down and about 6 here. A punt would only put it at the 20-yard line.
I think you go for it here, right?
Well,
this might be the last time you touch the ball.
With 4 minutes left to go, as we see whistles coming in, I think the Hawks are calling timeout.
This might be the last time you touch the ball. Right? So if that's what you're going to do, then you're going to end up having to get a first down here, forcing yourself to move the ball down the field. This is the championship game. You can't leave anything out on the field. You got to push and you got to make that last-ditch effort to end up trying to contend for a championship. You have the opportunity to do so. But 4th and 7, 4 minutes left, going to be something where you have the opportunity to score here. Now, how are you going to do that? Are you going to get McCready the ball on one of those looping kind of swings here? or are you going to try and get Herbert the ball up the middle, or even try to go back to I believe
Do you have
it
a
was number 5
screenplay?
Looper, right? Exactly, right.
Do you have something that, I know you pretty much emptied the playbook at this point, but do you have that one thing that, you always have that one play in your back pocket for moments such as these? It's 4th down and 6. The ball's on the opponent's 34-yard line. You're driving the ball. You've just used one of your timeouts. I always go with, like, we always had one play. It was either a flea flicker or hook and ladder that we'd always run at the end of practice once or twice a week. Last play for moments like these. Do you got that play?
Yeah, you got to get kids ready for the game script, especially at this level, right? You run your offensive install periods or your defensive install periods, but you got to get them used to the pressure here.
Pressure coming, throwing out. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Herbert. Falls incomplete. Bulldogs take it over with 3:48 and a chance to run out the clock here.
And hey, you know what? Valiant effort from the Hawks on offense there. Something we hadn't seen before that they did pull out. Little pass to Herbert. Just unfortunate that it went incomplete in and out of his hands there. But you still have the opportunity to get a stop here. If you get a stop here, again, you got 3 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game. You might have one more shot here.
Yeah, there's, in the Canadian game, you're going to get a lot of stops happening here in the next little while, with the whistles and out of bounds and everything else. So, you're not out of it yet. But again, a great defensive battle here in the second half of football. Bulldogs do take over here, 1st and 10 at about their 35-yard line. Inside handoff. Number 88 breaks a tackle. Gets a good run of about 8 or 9 yards on that. Tackle by Herbert.
And that's how you like to see a player rebound, right? Hey, ball just went in and out of my hands for the first down. Unfortunate, but I'm going to rebound. I'm going to make sure that I can make a stop here. First down for the Bulldogs.
So they did give him the 10 on that.
Unfortunately, with how timing works in Canadian football, if they give up another first down here, they might end up with an 8-6 final.
So 1st and 10 here. Inside handoff, straight ahead. Gain of about 5 again. It's just they're content to run that inside play, but and again, I don't blame you because that's the 3-minute warning. So now you've got the 3-minute warning. You need a couple. You need to get it down to about $1.10 to run it out, really, with the 20-second play clock. So you need 1, maybe 2 more first downs, and you can pretty much ice this game here. 2nd down, and we're going to call it 5 at the 3-minute warning.
And what do you try to go to here? Do you end up trying to run that Gabriel up the middle here? Or do you try some sort of jet sweep with now either number 81 or Penhale number 88? Let's see what they try to go to here to try and gain these last few first downs and close out the game.
Put it on my offensive line. Let's go get it. Let's go win a championship right now.
And I'm the same way. Let the big guys who got you here, let them get you the chance to close this game out, right? You trust them the whole way. As we see a quick handoff to Gabriel there, he picks up about 4 or 5.
Yeah, Gabriel picked up a gain of about, I'm going to say it's a gain of about 3 as we're going to have a 3rd down and about 2 here.
I think they're just trying to decide where they're going to spot the ball here, unless there's any extracurriculars after the play.
So what they're also doing is just talking about the running of the clock and everything else here. So it's going to be a 3rd down and 1 here. So 3rd and 1, clock is blowing in, continues to run. Bulldogs with the ball, big 3rd down here. If you're the Hawks, you got to send pressure here.
Yeah, 3rd and 1, you got to send the house here. You got to have all your defensive linemen down in a stance, ready to go, trying to get some pressure just so you gain some leverage. Let's see what happens here.
Takes it outside. He's met in the backfield. He's not going to get the first down. He's going to be thrown down for a loss of 1, maybe 2 on that. So 4th down, and we're going to call it 2 for the Bulldogs. The ball's on this side of the field. Do you elect to punt?
I think I would go for it here. And that's just me being a very, very gutsy play caller. I think you have the ability to trust your offensive line here and get 2 yards. I guess they're going to take the safe way out of it, right?
You've played the field position game all game.
Yeah, but you gotta end up at a point where you're going to trust your guys to go get a stop.
I'm going to trust my defense that's only given up 6 points all year that they're going to get the stop.
Fair enough. Unfortunately, clock is currently running. Should be set at 2:21 here for these teams, unless
they run the
clock off. Okay, yes. Sorry.
For the punt.
That's right.
That's
within the 3-minute warning. Right. Run the clock off for the punt.
So that's
correct.
something to keep in mind.
Yes.
See, it's a 15-second runoff at that point. Mm-hmm. So you take the 15 seconds off. 2 minutes 3 seconds left to go. 8-6. Bulldogs lead. We talked about it earlier, how those extra points, how those conversions were going to come into play at some point today. Right now, that is the difference between this game. The Bulldogs have made theirs. The Hawks did not. Mm-hmm. So, again, Hawks have the ball at about, what was that, about the 29-yard line.
Yeah, so let's see what the Hawks decide to come out on offense and do. I think if you're the Hawks, you go to old reliable, get McCready the ball, get him the ball in space with a lead blocker and Herbert, and then see what happens.
Handoff to McCready, taking it over the right-hand side. Was it fumbled? I heard fumble. I haven't seen the referees indicate it.
I think because of how quick they blew the whistle, they're going to keep it as Hawks ball here.
I thought he was down. They are calling it the second down.
And in LMFA, they do have relatively quick whistles just because of player safety, right? Yeah. They don't want players getting held up and teed off on, right? As soon as that forward progress stops, just blow the whistle. A lot of sometimes you get the inadvertent whistle when it's potentially a fumble, but our officials are pretty top notch. So great job by the officiating crew, stopping the play early, making sure that all the players are safe.
Nick Williamson and a quarterback for the Hawks. Very familiar name to the St. Thomas people. John Williamson was somebody I coached with a long time ago with the Falcons. Arthur Voden coach as well. Calls his own number, takes it over the right-hand side. Nowhere really to go. Gain of a couple on the play. Quick whistle on that.
And I like that play call, right? Do something that they haven't seen before.
Agreed.
Get a couple yards. Start to get into their head and thinking, okay, well, what do I actually need to do here? There
penalty
looks like to be a penalty flag on the play.
Penalty flag
here.
Down there.
Potentially holding penalty or some sort of face
Not
mask,
sure.
maybe?
I'm just waiting to see. They're talking to the Bulldogs bench, so a holding call?
I would assume so.
Yeah, it is a holding call against the Hawks. 10-yard penalty. Precious seconds.
Yeah, at this point in the game, and as we saw in the U12 game, right, Wolverines just simply ran out of time.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they did get the onside kick first down, there would have been 14 seconds left on the clock. Very tough to come back from. Hawks got 1:36 left on the clock here. Let's see if they can drive the field and end up securing a championship.
2nd down and 15. Handoff to McCready over the right-hand side. Cuts it back. McCready had a burst there. Takes it all the way back out to the 35-yard line. Big gain of the play. Really, a gain of about 15 on that. And it's going to bring up a 3rd down and about 3 here with 1:30 left to go in the fourth quarter.
I think you try to get McCready on that swing again like he did before. He lined up as the H, motions back into the backfield, right? Get that type of a motion where you can have him in space to be able to make a play. Maybe even try throwing him the ball into the flat, something that we haven't seen them do yet. He looks like he's hobbling around a little bit, so he might be a little bit worse for wear and not get the ball here. But at this time in the game, you kind of just got to end up playing through the pain.
So handoff to 42 this time. Big man rumbling. First time I think we've called his name today.
And that's Matthew Berthaum, I believe that's how you pronounce that. Again, sorry if I mispronounced that. Again, McCready injured. 4th down here. You got to go for it. Let's see what they
and they called their timeout as well. So that's the second and final timeout for the Hawks. 4th down, we're going to call it about 4. Coaching hats on for both of us. you know, what do you got?
If McCready's not able to run the rock here and get you the first down, you got to go to Herbert, right? Try to get him the ball up the middle, maybe through the B gap, some sort of power look, some sort of lead or ISO. Maybe bring in Maddox Forbes and get like kind of a heavy package look in here where you get two bigger kids in the backfield and just trying to, muscle their way through for, I believe it's 3 or 4 yards here. I think that's kind of what I would try to go through if McCready is injured. If he's not, that's where the ball's going, right? Everyone here knows that that's who's touching the ball if it's in a really important down for the Hawks. Or maybe you try to fake that to McCready and boot with the quarterback, try to boot Williamson or get some sort of naked boot action to where he can carry the ball and the defense just doesn't recognize it early enough. So tons of options for the Hawks on what they can do. The Bulldogs just kind of got to play safe here. Maybe send a little bit of pressure up the middle to prevent that, as we do see Maddox Forbes in the game here.
So something that I'm going to throw out there, play action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do something play action and try to hit a leak, try to hit a back leaking out. Because they're going to be coming to stop that. If you can get something quick into a receiver's hands, you got a shot here. Hand off to big number 90, taking it over the right-hand side. Not going to get there. It's going to be thrown down for a loss. Turn it over on downs. Bulldogs ball.
And the Bulldogs can actually need the ball out here just because there's no timeouts left for the Hawks. So
Exactly,
they should be able to knee the ball out here and maybe run 1 or 2 plays and then be able to knee it out. Get a first down and then knee it out. But it's relatively close.
Well, you could knee it out.
I think you should be able to here.
20 seconds per play.
Yeah.
But the clock doesn't start until the first snap.
That's right. So I think you run 1 play and
You
then
gotta
you knee it out.
Yeah, but you almost need a first down.
Ideally.
The first downs have been very, very difficult by both the teams.
Yep.
If I'm the Bulldogs, I'm not handing this ball off.
No. No.
I'm holding it there.
That's right.
Some substitutions coming in late here. Looks like they are going victory formation.
And that is one thing that they do allow the U14 teams to do, is they allow them to take the knee, as we do see the Bulldogs secure their under-14 championship.
So the Bulldogs do win. 8-6 is the final. If you're wondering why, well, because they do, it's 4 downs, and they do allow them 20 seconds per play to kneel it out. When you get in the under a buck 10 left, you just have to kneel it out once, and then the clock runs. Congratulations to both teams. Whale of a game. It was 8-6. The story of the day was the converted extra point, 2 points for the Bulldogs. Unfortunately, the pass fell incomplete for the Hawks. These guys battled all game though.
Absolutely, they did. Great, strong efforts from both defenses. Something that you gotta, be proud to hang your hat on. It's a great option. For those defenses, they did their job, right? Sometimes your offense just doesn't put up enough points, and that's how you end up losing, right? So,
well, in football, everybody wants to be a quarterback. Everyone wants to be a running back or a receiver. Scott mentioned it. Defense is alive and well in London Minor. Offense, I'm an offensive coach. I've coached offense for 25 years. I've been there. I've done that. I've done a whole bunch of different stuff. I'll be the first one to tell you, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. Those are 2 championship defense out there today.
Absolutely. Definitely a championship effort from both teams. And those teams both have to be proud of their efforts so far on the defensive side of the ball. The Bulldogs haven't given up more than 6 out all year, and lo and behold, they only give up 6 here today.
Yeah. Dylan, great job. Thank you very much for joining us here today on London Football. This is our final broadcast of the year for London Football TV. Mm-hmm. A great job for the cast and the crew. Cameraman Lawson, Cantor's around somewhere. He's over there. Okay, there he is, way back there. Just thank you very much. Producer Adam, producer Stephanie, cameraman Adam. We're going to have the trophy presentations filmed, and we'll post that afterwards. For Dylan Sherville, I'm the coach, Ron Forwarda. We thank you very much for joining us here for another year of London Football TV on London Minor Championship Day.